smash the like button and subscribe.
Hi.
Do you support Trump?
I do. Well, like the previous caller, I guess I'm also on the fence, depending, right? Because it's such a fluid situation. We're only a year and a half or a year and 4 months into the administration and into the term.
Isn't that
so
crazy?
We can't. It's not over till it's over. It's not over till it's over, Parker.
Oh, I think it's already over for a lot of you.
No. Well, so a lot of things that you predicted about his first term, who knew that the COVID vaccines were going to be, formulated months into COVID raging pandemic? Who knew that? Did anyone predict that until it happened, right? So that's kind of what's happening right now. Like, I'm not sure in terms of being prophesying what's going to culminate, right? So that's the part where you kind of put people on, you kind of corner them to think like, how is it that in such a active, fluid phase right now? 4 months ago, 2 months ago, so much has transpired since then for us to effectively conclude what's really going to be the ultimate conclusion of it all. So I'm not sure kind of where you guys go with all this, naysaying and like, this is the finite, all that type of thing. Like there's a lot of things that would have happened. Who knew Biden was going to go, with his memory and his all that? Who knew that was going to come? I mean, like your health, do you know we're going to be diagnosed with cancer in 5 months? I don't know. So kind of where do you guys go with that? I want to go with what's happening in terms of what's the premise or what precipitating or what's, in terms of actions that are being taken, right? If a threat were to come in like 3 months that we probably weren't, or North Korea, let's say they start acting up and like, a lot of that is just basing it off of what's eventually to happen. But it's kind of like the way I go with it is this on the daily, right? Do we acknowledge what could happen or do we dwell on what's going to happen? Like we can acknowledge today is, no, I'm talking about the uncertainty.
Yeah, but I think
uncertainty.
I think that's kind of I mean, pretending as if we don't see in real time what the Trump administration is doing or has done, right? From the negative policy that they've implemented, including tariffs, which have raised prices, the actual conflicts that have been caused domestically and abroad, especially with our transatlantic partners. And then even with this current war with Iran, where the Trump administration and Pete Hegseth has shown that they have no real understanding of war, no actual plan, no exit strategy. I mean, like everything that you're saying is, you're saying deal with what we have today. But if you look at everything that we have today, like all of it is negative indicators for Trump. And even if you take a look at the polls, like he has the lowest polling in history for any president. And if you look at the actual forecasting and prior history data.
If I may, that's for right now, right? 6 months from now, what is the polling going to show?
Yeah,
what did the
let me finish what I'm saying.
That's kind of what happened.
That's what I was just about to say.
I absolutely have.
If you take a look at the prior polling data and the trends as far as how this has always worked, any president that has had under 50% approval rating going into the midterm. So again, if this holds, not only loses a majority of their seats, but completely loses in a blowout by losing an average of 38 seats. The smallest number of seats lost with the president polling under 50% was a total of 9 seats. If you combine that with the fact that there's already been 39 Republicans who are saying that they're retiring and not running again, all of this stacks up to say that not only does the Democratic Party ready to take over, but even Republicans are ready for Democrats to take power.
Again, this dwelling on, I guess the term they coined, panicking, right? Where it's like the panicking part of it. Like, think of it. Whoever thought Trump, after everything that historically he's been through, right, with the impeachments and everything, who had ever thought that he would have even been the victor in the previous election? Who? Was that even anyone's cards? Absolutely not. But
can
it
you just
happened.
tell me like a policy of Trump's you like?
It happened. Well, that's what I was trying to get to.
I feel like
policy I
70% of like the debates today have just been people just yapping about random things, and I would like to
No,
stay
I don't think it's
focused.
random. I think it's
They're in their
substantial.
fifis.
I think it's substantial. Like the thing that you guys hone in on are things that it's substantial because, like I said, premature conclusions about things that are still actively going on. Like, how can we like? So
what
yes,
do you like about his candidacy so far?
Well, I like the transparency of it all. That it's a reaction to things that are happening in real time. Things that are happening, he's reacting to things that are happening. Okay, well, something that was more dramatic was the border. I mean, I know folks don't like to talk about that. of the border in terms of the actual number of like crossings and in terms of actually
Okay, so what did
ensuring
he
that
do
that
to address
policy was
that?
adhered to. What did he do? I mean, do you not know the number of border crossings now that
I'm
have
not asking
essentially
you
pretty
the
much?
outcomes. I'm asking you, what did he do?
So of course, I understand that he had tried to get both the Senate and the House to try to come up with something to improve it, to make it better.
Nope.
What are we talking? What are you asking?
No,
Like an
all he did
actual?
was executive policy.
Correct, because he's the
He
president.
actually
Of
he
course,
actually
he can only
under he
influence
actually
and
he actually
yeah.
undermined legislation that existed under the Biden-Harris administration where there was a bipartisan border bill because he literally didn't want the Democrats to get a win on the border. So, in terms of executive policy, what executive policies of his do you like in relation to immigration?
Well, I mean, clearly there's limitations of his executive, signing executive orders and whatnot. Clearly, there's limitations to that. There's a lot of things that he done are not necessarily codified. I mean, it's going to take the act of Congress to be able to get all that stuff done. I mean, in his own role as, commander in chief, in the executive branch, there's only so much that he's able to do. That is correct. Hence the reason why we do need folks on both the House and the Senate to get on board with a lot of the legislation he's trying to influence. But the ultimate outcome, we have folks that you can't just call all the MAGA or all the Republican folks. So
Sir,
there are
what
Republicans
executive
too who
policy?
are,
What executive policy
well,
do
the
you
things
like?
that, for example, I know okay, let's go on healthcare. I know for a fact he's trying to get folks to come up with something better.
Why are we
We
pivoting
can't
to
all,
healthcare? Why are we pivoting to by the way, he has
with what?
concepts
With
and
the
plan for
RAR?
that. We're referencing
With the RAR you're
immigration.
talking about?
We're
Oh,
referencing
with immigration?
immigration. I was asking
Okay,
what
with the
executive
immigration, yeah,
policy
of
in
course.
relation to immigration do you support of
Yes,
Trump's?
so with the immigration, I do support the fact about the pause and all that's happening because, listen, there's always been a process in place regarding how to legally immigrate or emigrate to the United States. There's always been a policy in place. Now, can it be improved? Absolutely. But the question is, are we trying to make it more complex? Are we trying to make it more? Because listen, you're sighing, but the folks that have to go through the actual immigration process, paying the fees, waiting. I mean, you have folks that have loved ones. There is a process in place, Parker. There is a process. You know that, right? And you know how long it takes for folks to legally immigrate?
Do you want me to just
It's
repeat the
significant.
question? Do you want me to
No,
repeat the
that's what I'm trying
question?
to get at. So yes, there is a
I
way.
can repeat the
Yes, I
question if you
agree.
don't know what the question was.
I agree.
Can
There
you
is
name an
absolutely
executive
room.
policy of Trump's in relation to
Yeah, the
immigration that
pause
you
is what I'm
like?
telling you about. The pause that he put a pause
You
to
aren't.
try to. Yes, the pause is in place for them to revisit the stipulations of what the immigration policies are regarding those particular countries where historically
Dude,
there's
this is
been.
all yapping, bro. Are you trolling?
I'm absolutely not. You're
Dude,
asking
come
me
on.
what policies.
You've got to be trolling. There's no
He
way.
I
thinks
mean,
he thinks that
UCIS.
he's being super deep, and he's not actually saying anything.
How am I not saying? It's
I'm
obviously resonating
asking
for y'all to
what
respond, right?
executive policy of Trump's do you like in relation to immigration?
Well, I like the fact that he pretty much had made it much more with the number of what do you call it, border patrol officers and whatnot. I mean, it's not just that now. It's a very multifaceted type of situation. It's
Okay,
not what you think like
so
close
in
the
a
border.
vague sense, he increased the amount of border patrol officers. That's it.
Well, that in itself clearly identifies his priorities, right? I mean, if you're obviously
He
having an
undermined the
uptick in the number
bipartisan.
of.
Did you know that he undermined the bipartisan border bill that would have done
No,
just that?
I'm aware of the border bill part about the bipartisan part. I mean, there were even Republicans that were supporting it. I
Yeah.
understand that they were against about. Sorry, huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was.
Are you okay?
No, that's my point. No, that wasn't for me. That's all I was trying. I heard some background noise. That was from me. I was saying that I agree that with that bipartisan bill, I think part of it is it could have been improved. I don't think, and you know what? At the end of the day, you're right. I don't think there's ever going to be this black and white. There's always going to be a gray area with any sort of legislation that's passed, right? I mean, but no one's ever going to be fully satisfied. But the question is, how do we make it better? It's always to try to. The goal, I guess, is always the ultimate, genuine, sincere intention to make something better,
Watch
to make a
this.
process better.
How do you make things better? By not supporting Trump. Because actively speaking, we'd be able to make the legal process go quicker. We would have been able to secure the border through the bipartisan border bill. We would have not been at war with Russia, or not with Russia, with Iran. We specifically would not have done universalized tariffs. We wouldn't have called for the annexation of Greenland and Canada, right, which would destabilize our relationships with our allies. So we'd be in a significantly better standing on the world stage if Trump were not president.
You know what? I take a different stance of that, Parker. I think of Trump more of a shaker-upper. He kind of shakes things up because of how
In a bad way.
genuine and transparent. No, but that's just it. Do you know you have some brass folks that sometimes you deal with that, you may not see the bigger picture of it. You know what I'm saying? You may hate their personality, you may hate their character, but that's kind of what stirs up a lot of movement and stuff, because you actually get folks to start. It's kind of like the lackadaisical type default, that we've been getting historically. I mean, I think that's kind of what shook up a lot of things, that you have more folks talking about stuff, folks more engaged, folks more, debating about different things, because you're stirring up some stuff that I think historically has always just been more defaulted. Folks just act on the default. People don't about this whole decorum and a certain way to talk. And yeah, absolutely. We all know it's kind of like looking at the monarchy and being like, okay, you're a king and a queen, and yet you're absolutely free from any sin or any sort of. That's the way I see it. Like a lot of folks, they get too caught up in the sensitivity part of their emotions and how things seemingly appear, but they don't necessarily hone in on the actual metrics, like what's actually being delivered. So that's where I'm getting at. We're talking about a year and 4 months into this term.
What is being delivered? Yeah, what is being delivered by
there's
Trump?
still significant time left of this administration.
No new wars, right? No new wars.
Remember, action
Release
and
the
reaction.
Epstein files, right?
No, but the no new wars part. Listen about that. It's kind of like saying, why do we even have the military in the first place? Are you absolutely just trying to say in our existence there just never will be? I mean, like your point is moot. Like, why do we even have a military if you're advocating for saying like there's never going to be a threat? Of course, you don't want.
I never said there's never going to be a threat. When did I ever say that?
Insinuating that you're essentially trying to tie like why new. If Kamala Harris was president,
I claim that there are less issues, less threats if Trump were not in office.
He would initiate a war as well. Like it's kind of like back to the whole notion of predictability and
Trump is the one causing the threats, right? So there'd be less threats if Trump was in office.
The threat is listen, that's again back to the whole what I alluded to about stirring things up. Sometimes you do need to stir up the muddy water. Yeah, it doesn't need to happen. I'm not sure where your thought process is in thinking that that's
what do you mean by stir up things? What does that mean? In what way is that good?
To get their act together, because they have always
you think Trump is creating more order? You think the convicted felon, adjudicated rapist is making things more ordered in this country? Are you serious?
You know what? Let me
think things have more order right now? Are you kidding me?
Well, then that's when I turn and ask you. When Obama asked us to have hope, right? Where's your hope? Where's your faith? That's kind of where also I turn to you as an individual, all your listeners and everyone in here, like look introspectively and think to yourselves, if there's no hope and no sort of like faith or optimism or positivity, try to listen, there's a difference between now certain things happening. You're just absolutely staring at and glaring and thinking that doom and gloom is in the horizon. And yet you don't have any sort of, of course, absolutely. I believe that certain things are being taken to hopefully get to that point. Like it actually counteracts the essence of what you're even saying. If you're saying no new wars, absolutely, that was what he was advocating for. But if something comes up that necessitates initiating action to take that on, we must react to that versus sitting around and
there was no necessity. There was no necessity to act. There was no evidence.
What intelligence do you have? Because Joe Kent said so.
Yeah, that's
Joe Kent, like any other defector. There's always going to be defectors now. Remember Joe Biden's administration?
Okay. So by the way, why did he leave the Trump administration?
Why did he leave? Do you know? Are you him?
Yes. Yes, because
listen, that's subjective or objective. There's subjective.
Why are you crashing out? So I'll tell you why he left. He left because there was no evidence that we were going to be attacked by Iran, no evidence that they were going to attack us, and that we were doing so on behalf of the state of Israel, which is both things of that are true. You can unmute yourself now. Okay.
I was going to say again, he was going off of what his individual perception and judgment was. Does that necessarily mean that it's right in the long run? We're about to find out. It's still fluid. It's still a fluid situation. Like you're probably gonna end up biting your tongue.
I have a
You're going
question.
to bite your tongue months later when you realize that it all turned out to be right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question. Why is it that you guys always say we have to wait and see? And then when we wait and see, hold on.
Yeah.
You say we have to wait and see. And then when we wait and see, then you guys always defer to, well, we need to give it more time.
Okay, let me answer
you guys continue to do that. You say, well, you got to give Trump a chance. All right, well, the terrorists have been negatively impacted. Well, you got to give it more time. Yeah, it's been a year. Well, it's going to happen in the future. Like you guys always say wait and see. And then when time passes, you say it needs more time. That doesn't make sense.
How about this? If I can ask and implore in all of y'all when it comes to looking at cumulative or collective demonstrable evidenced success or results, right? Instead of 1 year and 4 months into this term, how about that comes towards the end of the term, and then we can take a full picture? Because
Wait,
for me,
so
listen,
your
the term.
premise is that we need to wait for everything to like be
No,
completely
no.
destroyed
Well,
before
we're
we
lucky
can
that with
evaluate it?
no,
That
actually,
doesn't make
Parker, no.
sense.
Parker, listen. With
Hey,
Trump, the
question
luxury
for
we
you.
have with Trump,
Question
right,
for
is that
you.
he already had a first term.
Question
Don't
for
forget
you.
that. That's the
Question
reason why
for
we're
you.
able to
Hey,
know
Jet,
what he
Jet,
delivered.
Jet,
Yeah,
Jet.
yeah.
Question for you.
Oh, that was fantastic.
When being hired, like, have you ever been
Yeah,
to a
some
performance
certainty.
review?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
I've had to give performance reviews.
sure,
Absolutely. I've had to give
perfect.
tips. I've had to, absolutely.
So when hiring someone new and they're on like a probation period, do you wait until like a whole year, or like when they get ready to put in their 2 weeks notice, or are there multiple markers where you actually get performance reviews
Listen,
to see their performance up to that point?
Santana, apples to apples, oranges to I get the premise of what you're asking. That's a whole different metric to try to apply, right? You're talking about a 4-year term of a presidency versus you're talking about employment starting on in your, your 30-day, 30-day evaluation
I don't
period.
think you
Very
I
big
don't think you
difference.
I don't think you're
Very
getting
big
it.
difference.
The point that I'm getting is there are markers, indicators within presidential terms that we have historical points where we look and we give evaluations. That's why, like, the 100-day speech is a thing, right?
Okay.
The first State of the Union is a thing. Like, there are
Yeah.
actual historical markers that we have to determine the actual trajectory of a presidency. And by all of those indicators that we've come across so far, Donald Trump is a massive failure.
Absolutely
And you're not
not.
dealing with that.
Santana, listen, we're actively in the midst of this war, right? Prior to this war culminating, I guess you could say we're at the height of it. I mean, who knows how else it's going to turn out right now, right? But his term started January of 2025, all right? Since then, yeah, I can attest. I'm sure a lot of the audience can attest. Gas has been significantly low across the board.
No, it hasn't.
Oh,
No, it
listen,
hasn't.
you're not listening.
But what you're saying isn't true.
Up until this war, yes, that part I'm going to give you.
No. Even gas went up. Gas went up under Trump before coming back down, and then before going back up because of the war.
So if I were to tell you that, do I have to go off of every 50 state? Do I have to start from Alabama, Alaska, and tell you what the average
you look
price
at the
was?
national average.
And then I'm telling, okay, so where I
average.
live right now, okay, I don't have to listen. It's not about, and you're right.
Right.
There's different counties, different cities.
Hey,
okay, go ahead. Anyways, I'm going to give you that part
Jet,
in the sense of like what?
I want to have a conversation.
I'm not sure how you can minimize that. Like I'm telling you, anecdotally, like I'm not sure. Can you ask your audience, has gas prices from January 2025 for the latter part of for the entire duration of the year? Forget all that. We need to talk.
Jet.
Let's get down to the real people who are actually
Hey,
pumping
Jet,
the
do you
damn
not
gas.
hear Parker calling your name? Stop talking. Let Parker finish.
Yeah, Jet, or Parker, go ahead.
Are gas prices higher right now, significantly higher because of Trump?
It's increased. That's my point. Yes.
Okay.
During the midst of all this, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
it has ticked up. Absolutely.
okay. So given that gas prices have gone up because of Trump, does that
You
mean
mean-
that you would say that Trump has done worse there?
No, that just goes back to what I was saying, is that everything is still such an evolving situation, Parker. How am I going to make that decision? The gas prices literally, I would say we picked up on the true, like, dramatic uptick of it. I'd say
Hey,
even
Jet,
over the last
I'm
month.
just going to ask you direct questions. I don't want such lengthy
Yes.
responses. Because,
So, okay. So that's my answer is that no.
Can I please? Okay. Gas prices going up, is that a bad thing or a good thing?
There's context to it, but of course it's a bad thing. Yes, as collectively as a population, we react because the gas is going up, because prices are going. Yes, it's a bad thing, seemingly.
Okay, so I can't even speak to you because you keep it just. I'm sorry. The level of yapping is really annoying me.
It's
And
crazy.
I'm trying to stay patient, but it's actually unbelievable.
crazy.
I'm sorry. I actually genuinely want to throw my head through the wall. I'm sorry. I can't. It's actually it's really bad. Okay, the prices for gasoline going up is bad. Trump caused that. That's making conditions worse. Is there anything about the economy that Trump's made better off since he's got in office?
I mean, I'm sure everyone talked about the passing of the triple B, right? That's a dramatic effect because it does directly impact folks in terms of tax filing and in terms
What
of those,
positive impact has the BBB had?
there's again, it's multifaceted. You know, I
No,
can't
just name one positive.
well,
one positive.
Okay,
there's tax relief.
watch
They're
this,
okay.
watch
The
this.
child tax credit. That's
Watch
one of
this,
them.
chat.
It's
I just
child tax
gotta.
credit.
My live is now not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results for the next 10 minutes because your live does not comply with the For You Feed eligibility standards under your community guidelines. Reason: mental health. They said, "Fuck, dude." Is it because I said I was gonna throw my head through the wall? Maybe that's exactly what it is.
Or maybe it's just Jets yapping. Like even the algorithms.
Man,
like, no, this
y'all
is
need
not
to be
good for
real. How am I
people.
really yapping, y'all? Come on. I'm really trying to be like, you're saying that I'm yapping, but yet my points, are you absolutely just discounting everything I've just conveyed? Really? Like,
No, you won't stop
Because
talking to
you
let
won't
people
stop talking
respond.
and like
oh,
actually
because
like
I
let
think
us
part of
engage
it,
in a
okay,
conversation.
excuse me, but
All right,
I'm like really
so
new to the whole thing. But anyways, that's part of the
all
reason.
right,
Maybe I just
Jet.
have to still
So
try and
like
get
let's have the
acclimated.
conversation about the big beautiful bill. The big beautiful bill. Can you name a provision within it that you like?
Yeah, the child tax credit is increased. I like that.
Okay, that aspect of
Yeah.
it would have been even
I mean,
larger.
go ahead.
That aspect of it would have been even larger under Harris's administration. She wanted to expand the child tax credit. If that's something that you like, why would you support Trump given that Harris would have done more?
Again, in leading up to the election, right? It's kind of like all the, how would I say, the pulse of the country, everything that was happening at that point in time clearly influenced a lot of my decisioning in terms of leading up to that. So that's part of the thing. And then going off of that, was piggybacking off of his first term. I thought he actually did a good job. I mean, coming out of COVID and all that different, or C-19 or whatever. I'm not sure if you can say that, but uh, so to me that was demonstrable results. So I think that's kind of what I would say Trump had a luxury of, the fact that he was able to come back, have a second term where we can actually compare. So yeah, leading up, I was able to, at least at that point, have something to compare against. You know what I mean? So we were just wrapping up Trump's term. Wrapping up
Jed,
Biden's term.
at some point, your sentence
Yeah.
needs a period, which means stop.
No, that was my answer. I was just trying to say that we could compare something.
You're still talking.
I don't even know if he answered the question. What was the question?
I don't remember.
Yeah, the question was.
Don't remember.
Let me ask him if he remembers the question because I actually do. Do you remember the question, Jet?
Hello?
Jet, do you remember my question?
Kind of paused there. Do I remember your question? No, ask
Yeah.
it again.
Okay. So, if you specifically want the child tax credit to be increased, right?
Yeah.
And you support that within the big beautiful bill, why don't you support Kamala Harris over Donald Trump? Because under Kamala Harris, she wanted to expand the child tax credit.
Well, because at that time, that's promises that during her term, she was already vice president, which I know, again, as a vice president, VP, there's only limitations, but those are all words, right? I mean, she wasn't able to demonstrate with her, maybe that's what it was. Maybe she just wasn't put in a position where I could really measure based on actual results that I mean, from what I understand, the roles that she undertook during their administration, there really wasn't much things that we could really make of what she was able to demonstrate being able to do, even in the capacity as a vice president. So I think, if anything, that's really what I mean, you're right. She could have made all those promises that would have, overshadowed what maybe Trump was promising, but that's just what it was. It was promises. And with promises, if someone had already demonstrated what they were able to do, don't you go off of that? Like, I mean, I'd rather go off of something that's already been demonstrated versus something that is just basing off of uncertainty. So it may have sounded better, but it wasn't. I mean, she just wasn't in a position, even though there was a lot of that, enthusiasm and all that. That's not enough, like, in that circumstance of time. I mean, there's a lot going on, like with the inflation and everything, with the economies, and regular folks, regular Joe Blows were having to go through those. And again, the thing about a lot of this is really going to be on the microscopic level on your family with what the situation you're going through, whether it's the healthcare that's on your mind, or, student loans, or immigration, so that's why. Yeah.
Okay. Just
Okay.
FYI, I put a stopwatch on him, Parker. He talked for 2 minutes and 55.55 seconds without being interrupted and said nothing. Jet, I'm gonna put you on I'm gonna use a stopwatch every time you start speaking. I'm telling you, you're just yapping.
So I
That
think
was
what it
almost
is,
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Stop talking right now, Jet. Stop.
I think-
Stop. Stop. Holy shit. 3 fucking minutes? Are you kidding me, dude? That is unbelievable.
Soliloquy.
Let me
Listen,
respond to this.
Hey, we're bringing soliloquies back, man. Come on, soliloquies backs. So
Please be quiet. Genuinely, this is crazy, okay? So, again, you were saying, what could she do as VP? Well, one thing you have to acknowledge, the point that I would say is that in terms of her being VP, right, she can't do everything that she wants in the same way that Trump in his first administration, by the way, as president, couldn't have done everything that he wants. When he was running for candidacy, could you have said, oh, well, you didn't do it in your first term. Why didn't you do it in your first term? Right, to him, every single time he said something that he was going to do? No, people didn't say that. You're obviously going to compare based on what they wanted. If she was advocating for an expansion to the child tax credit versus what Trump was advocating for, they're obviously more likely to get that because she's the one that inevitably has to sign the bill. And the people who are voting on it in the context of Congress know that. Okay? So you understand that if we want an expansion to the child tax credit or expansion to tax cuts for working class people, Kamala Harris was the one to do that. Just saying it's words is not a response to that's what her position was.
See, Parker, but in hindsight, even if she did get the presidency, think about it. How would the composition of both the House of Representatives, how would that have looked? And would that have thwarted anything that she was really advocating for? You know what I mean? Like, think of the outcome. What actually came of it, right? So we know that, both the House and the Senate, majority, well, now it's a pretty thin margins, but think about it. If she had won the presidency, then we'd still be in a stymie. It'd still be a lot of counterintuitive things going back and forth. So kind of going to your notion, even if we went there and said, okay, we elected her, that would have still been against her. So that's my point. I think a lot of it, and I can't believe that you guys are trying to invalidate or minimize what I'm trying to say, because it absolutely ties to all of that. When people make decisions, it's sometimes leading up to that point, what they've been observing, what they've been living through, that ultimately is going to dictate a lot of their reaction and when they go into the polls. I mean, that's what they do. They vote based on imminent things that have been transpiring in their livelihoods leading up to that time. So this point that you're trying to reference about, but she's, again, not much was demonstrated during their term in terms of effective results. I mean, people were actively going through high inflation.
I'm just going to cut you off. Bipartisan infrastructure bill,
Parker,
Chips and Science Act, PACT Act, Inflation Reduction Act, and all the tax cuts that you're talking about applicable to income earners under $400,000 a year literally would have been maintained under Harris's administration. So again, in terms of the tax cuts, that's what she would have voted on. So yeah, she would have been able to get expansions to the tax credits because again, all the tax cuts would have just been targeted towards lower income individuals rather than the highest income individuals. Okay.
Parker,
and then
Just FYI, it was 1 minute and 19 seconds, point 33.
That's an improvement, Santana. Come on.
Well, that's only because Parker cut you off.
That is actually literally only because I cut you off.
Then. Okay.
Like you need to figure out when the sentence ends. Like you need to figure that one out.
Hey man, what can I do? I try to add some context to what I say.
There is literally something called brevity. You should look into it. You need it.
Oh man, it's like it's a catch-22. Some folks say when you're so short, it's like, okay, well, provide context. Well, you provide context. Now they're calling you out for being so detailed about stuff.
No, it's not that you're being detailed. It's that you're providing irrelevant context. Like you're providing context for things that are irrelevant to the conversation.
I beg to differ. How is anything?
Why are you cutting me off every single time I speak?
How is that irrelevant? Really? Oh wow!
It's like every time I speak, he cuts me off. Every time he speaks, he gets to yap for like minutes, dude. Jesus Christ! How about you shut the fuck up? Genuinely, dude. Like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to have patience with you, but holy fucking shit, you're insufferable to talk to.
Well, you obviously you've been engaged thus far, right? So
I do not like it. I want to kick you right now. Please,
don't kick me.
I'm giving you the shot to actually engage. Yeah. Stop.
So, okay, if I may, with the subsidies, right? Sorry, remember the subsidies that they've axed just this past December? Those subsidies that were supposed to kick in for the ACA?
ACA, yes.
I mean, the way to think about it is, why were they even the subsidies in the first place, right? Because that just tells you, it's proof that the law just wasn't, clearly it needed some healing. It was something wrong with it. That's why they even had to have the subsidies, right? So again, that's the impetus to try to make it better.
What does that have
does
to do
that make
with what
sense?
I was just talking about?
All these other legislations that you laid out, again, all that stuff that you laid out, you may have, again, it may have not trickled down to the common folk, right? All that may have been passed, but the pulse of the country at that time was we were caught up in
Can you
the
name one
inflation. We're
policy
caught up
that
in the
Biden
gas.
passed that you disagree with?
And that's just it. I don't think that the policies that they passed were necessarily counterintuitive to.
Name a single policy you disagree with. Can you?
Why was I muted?
You weren't. No one muted you.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
Did you say why was that needed?
No, he said, why was he muted? He wasn't
I
muted.
got a call. Sorry about that. No, that's what it was. Sorry. What was that, Parker? Again, my apologies.
This guy purposely rage baiting me, dude. Like,
No.
dude,
No.
I can't, man. I can't.
I'm not a doctor, but I do have ADHD, and he's giving me like pre-Santana before I was medicated ADHD vibes. Like I would ramble and just like go off and chase squirrels, and it feels like he's chasing squirrels.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. I don't know. Yeah. I guess. Are
on
you there, bro?
screen.
Okay, he's just getting called. He's just answering a call right now. He's just talking to someone else.
He
Dude,
came
holy
back and said he
fuck.
was still waiting.
I'm not. I'm still here.
He's
Why do you
as
keep
he's
swiping
leaving.
out? You can't swipe. We can't hear you when you swipe out.
Okay, I'm just gonna thank some people real quick. Dom, thank you for the €2. Thank you very much. N3, thank you for the $5 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you very much. Dylan, thank you for the $3. Thank you. Tori, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it's so ridiculous, right? Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Fit Dad, thank you so much for the $50. Thank you so much for what is King Yapper going on about. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Fit Dad. Thank you for the $50. Thank you very much. Tori, thank you for the $5. Trisha, thank you so much for the $1. Mr. James Bond, thank you for the $2. Thank you very much. FDR, thank you for the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. BPR, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Thank you very much. W's. Tori, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much, Tori. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Having Trump and his administration is like having hope, and a ship made out of toilet paper won't fall apart. The house, or thinking that the toilet paper won't fall apart. The house is on fire, and this guy is sitting on the couch saying everything is fine. Seriously. Tiff, thank you so much for the $25. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Props for you to dealing with this fucking yapper for so long. I could never. Well, I think I'm hitting my breaking point. Brew Punch, thank you for the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Starry, thank you for the $10. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Rogue, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Get some W's for them in the comment section right now. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I got you. Zach, thank you for the $20. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, he definitely was finishing those essays very quickly. 20,000 words for sure. Tori, thank you for the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Get some W's for Tori in the comment section. Katie, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And PNW, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you very much. Sophie, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you very much on Venmo. Lydia with the $5. Thank you very much. Katie, thank you for the $10. Thank you. Madeline, thank you so much for the $10. And Justina, thank you so much for the $40. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it on PayPal. Thank you so much. Can we get some W's for them in the comment section right now? Thank you very much. I really appreciate W's for Justina in the comment section right now. Thank you for the $40. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I did see that, actually. I did see that. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And Sophie, I know, right? And by the way, if I missed your donation at all, I do apologize, everyone. It's been a little bit. I've been a little bit behind today.
I
Party
have a
thing, the
couple
$2
of
as well. And go ahead.
a couple of you know. Megan, thank you so much for the 10. So for being one of my favorite dickheads. Yeah, absolutely. Madeline, thank you so much for the 10. Yeah, he was a man child. Allison, thank you so much for the 5. Like they're all babies. Amanda, thank you so much for the 5. Wait and see. That's like their entire policy. And also, Michael, thank you so much for the 10. Maybe, like that's Parker's call. Thank you all for the donations.
And then Renee, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you very much, Renee. I really appreciate it. Thank you. W's for Renee. Thank you very much. And Andrew, thank you for the $10. Alrighty. Anything else you got to say, Jet?